This is my Axial scx24, but it's not very stable, I would say. It tips over pretty easily. And what I've done to help with that is remove the springs to help it sit lower. And at one point I did have this off, and the rear tire off, but I put them back because I wanted the aesthetics back. I wanted it to be more scale. But to try and lower weight, I got, that's the brand, I got these aluminum axles from Coda Racing. And I also got the scale to like see how heavy they are, like see how much of a difference it's making. So here's the front end, with including the steering linkages. And well, here's the thing. I found them on Amazon. All right, they were $30 for the pair, and you know, all the other kits that were aluminum and brass were like $60. I only had $30 to spend, so I just went with these because I wanted an upgrade part. I actually wanted to upgrade it. It just lost a gram, but I found diff covers that were 22 grams. They're 21 grams again. Mind you, two diff covers that were 22 grams each. Alright, yeah, here's what I got. Alright, the weight isn't really listed. There's that 2.39 ounces, but I think that's total package weight. Here's the pieces that are actually heavy. As you can see, much more expensive. As you see there, made of aluminum alloy and brass, anodized surface, front axle 85 grams, rear axle 35 grams. So yeah, that would have been an upgrade for sure. And here's the brass diff covers I found for $14, 22 grams a piece, by Injora. These ones are even cheaper, but I don't know how heavy they are, by Gethele. Anyways, I'll show you how heavy the rear axle is now. Rear axle, 12 grams. So about 33 total. Now mind you, those are empty. There's nothing in those. There's no gears or axles, anything. Alright, I got a before weight, 301 grams. I wrote it down. That is a G, by the way. Getting the wheels off, uses a little 4mm hex bit. Alright, I got the front axle removed. I gotta tell you, it already feels pretty heavy. Let's see what we got. Dang, 23. And you do actually, I probably said this already, but you have to take out all the gears and whatnot in this thing to put in these. And it also did come with new screws. And I don't know which ones I'm supposed to use for what, but I guess I'll have to figure it out. Match them up to the old ones and where those went. Okay, to take these apart, I guess I'll start with the diff cover. Although actually maybe I should take the knuckles off first. I know a big risk of drilling into these, not drilling, but screwing stuff into these little teeny itty weedy beady axial parts is stripping out the threads. Either like in the part or on the screw. Well, no, in the part, but because I've already done that once, because the threads are just so small. So I think screwing into aluminum will be much nicer. Much less chance of me breaking it. Hopefully anyways, because I really also hope these are heavier. There we go, knuckles off. And I think once you get the diff cover off, the whole diff will split open. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, brass axles I'm pretty sure for the Track TRX4 are much more expensive. I think the most expensive kit was like $177. Absolutely ridiculous. Well, maybe ridiculous. Might be a fair price if you're getting like a quality part, I guess. It's a lot of brass too. Like 200 grams, I think that's a lot anyways. Now, I'm pretty sure I could get these diff covers later, like buy them again some other time, and then that'll be another like 20 grams. But I've also heard that they don't fit on these, so we'll see. Let's see what I got, what I have to do. Dude, I have screws scattered everywhere. Diff cover's a little covered up here, so start taking off these steering linkages. Keep these screws separate somewhere else so I don't mix them up. I don't want to mess up these itty bitty teeny weeny threads. All these parts are so freaking small. Now, I also could have put those brass diff covers on the stock axles, but I mean, if I try and do brass diff covers on aluminum axles, that'll probably be even heavier. So that's what I might just do. Alright, got the old one open. I don't know what those gears are really called, but should this just pop out? No, I think I have to take this out first. So to get that screw gear out, little screw on there for the drive shaft connector linkage. Lost my screwdriver for a second. Wow. Shouldn't have to take that all the way out. That's gonna be the smallest set screw ever. Okay, maybe I do have to take it further out. Oh, it's not a set screw. Oh. Might just be better that way, because that would be so freaking tiny. But there it is, dude. All this stuff is so small. Here comes that screw gear. Oh, dude, grease is going to add some weight, too. Alright, I think to get that diff out, I have to take the knuckles off. And take the axles out. Dude, I'm going to take the steering linkage all the way off. This is getting annoying. The new I know because of these ball joints, they wiggle around a little bit. And then that might cause some slack in the steering, so I wonder if it'll be a little better with these. These kind of have bushings, kind of. So kind of, they might be better, they might not. Yeah. Let's take these knuckles off, see if the aluminum ones are any heavier. I did Google it. Supposedly aluminum is heavier than plastic. It should be heavier, unless it's covered in dirt and grease, and that alone makes it heavier. Oh, that just popped right out. There it is. I do have to take all this stuff out. There's a little wheel hex, and then pop that little shaft out. Take that out so you can slide all this out. Nice. And then I have to take these bearings out. Which just, oh my god. Oh, I got it, we're good. There are parts scattered all over my desk. I have to do this in one sitting or I will not remember how it all goes together. Pop that one out. And it looks like they're the same size. So it doesn't matter where they go. But let's try and weigh this. Alright, here we go. Well, let's forgot to turn it on. Plastic one. What? 0 grams. It's weightless. An aluminum knuckle. I don't know. Doesn't really matter which side. Nice, dude. That is 100% heavier. 3 grams. Dude, I should not be celebrating 3 grams. But heck, dude, the plastic one didn't weigh anything. So, I mean, progress is progress, right? So it will be heavier, probably. Okay. So we have to, I remember where these bearings went. I remember this one went on the inside. I don't think it matters though. Maybe you want to keep in mind in case. No. Boom, they're in. I feel like they're gonna fall out. But slide the, I don't know what axle that would be in. Put the bearing back that fell out. So it didn't come with bearings that were like maybe better fitted. Put the little pin in for the wheel hex. Put the wheel hex on. And Alice Shazam, you got yourself a fully assembled knuckle. Wow, that was a lot of cracks, but let's get the next one here. And then taking this apart will be the same as the other side. Man, these bearings are not fit that well. And hopefully once it's all really together, it'll fit way better. Cause it's just sliding in and out. And I could, oh my god, that really just pops in and out. But yeah, hopefully once assembled, that'll stay together better. And I won't have to worry about it. Okay, here's a little diff cover. There's also a bearing in here. I don't know how I'm gonna get that out. I can't push it out from the other side. All right, I got myself a tweezer. It feels like you can reach under the bearing a little bit with the tweezers when you put it in like that. And oh, you just saw there. I got it out a little bit. Let's go to the other side. Boom. Oh, dude, we gotta weigh the diff covers. All right, so there is actually some grease here, so that might make a difference. Here we go. Plastic, 0 grams, even with the grease. What a loser. Aluminum. Oh, but hey, I think most of the weight is going to be right here. So, get that bearing, pop it in place, slide it in place, and that's good to go. And, oh my god, there's bearings in there. I don't know how I'm going to get those out. There it is. There's the axle. Can I just reach in there like this? Yeah. Nice. Dude, this is insanely delicate work here. And the other side, the tweezers lift it out. Oh my god. I hate this process a little bit. There's another bearing I just saw. I'm gonna have to take out. Oh my god, another bearing fell. Oh, here. Those bearings don't even really press into place. You can just easily grab those. Nice. Alright, here, let me press that bearing out in there. And then I'll weigh this part. There we go. Make sure you remember where those bearings go. I probably should have said that earlier. Now, there's going to be some grease in this one. The aluminum one does not have the servo tray always attached, so all plastic. There's some grease in there. 5 grams. All right. Here we go. The metal one. 7 grams. Extra 2 grams. Dude, I don't think this is like an upgrade at all. Now that I'm kind of looking at it. You might just want to save it for the brass ones. Oh, here. 7 plus the servo tray is 10. So that's double the weight. Okay. I mean that could be something, right? 10 extra grams. Man. Or you might want to get these aluminum axles and the brass diff covers, though they might not fit right, is the real risk. And you might have to modify the diff cover or the axle. Let's try and get this bearing in here, which went in very nicely. Alright, I don't know where those bearings go, the ones I'm looking at down here. I'm kind of assuming those two go right in there. They fit in there so loosely. I'm sure grease would help me to deal with that, but the internal bearing here. Dude, this would probably be so much easier on my TRX4 because all the parts are bigger. Tweezers is definitely necessary for this task. Alright, that one's in. Dude, that's not even a diff. That's just a gear. I'm also not adding fluid. That might not be a good idea. Alright, it fell far, so I might have to lift it up a little bit. Slide the axle in. Did I get it? No, I don't think so. I think I have to lift that up a little bit to get it to line up right. Yes, I did. Dude. Alright, that's in there. Wow, okay, that could have been way harder. Oh my god. There we go, and that one popped right in too. Nice. So now they're both spinning. Nice. What? Dude, that was not too bad. What? It's already like almost all the way assembled. Did I weigh the whole heavy? Yes, I did. And now for this gear, what was it? Spinal gear? No, not spinal, but screw gear, right. It's screw gear. That's what it's called. And then can pop the diff cover on. No, I can't. Not yet, not yet. You need to have the servo tray on too. Which, well, I'm sure you can put on later. It'll slide on, right? Let's see. Pop that on. You can just slide that in there. Okay, yeah, cool. Just gotta make sure not to put those screws in yet. Alright, it'll be... Alright, looks like those. And I say looks like those because I remember they being shorter and I remember there being 4 of them. Alright. Be gentle tightening them down. They're not going to take a lot of torque to be set in place there. It's a crawler, not a race car. But I do have more confidence because of being metal that I won't strip it out. Which is nice because I know I did that on one of the shocks and I had to use glue to sort of keep it in place. Alright, those are in. Let's get this servo mount on. Just go just like that. Nice super long screws. Nice. It actually does feel a fair bit heavier and it's not even fully assembled. So this is actually going to go outwards. That's the wrong way. This one will go on this side. And make sure, there we go. That's on there and it will be level. Well, it has to pull out a little bit to align right. There's 1 screw and 2 screws. There we go. There's 1 knuckle on. And now for the other one. Dude, honestly, the best part of these axles is probably going to be how they look. More than anything, because they are nice. I mean, the red and gray, I think, looks pretty nice. Not that that's super important. I think it matters a little bit. And heck, I've seen those fancy trucks in real life with nice looking axles. Why can't my little scx24 have them, right? Are we going? Nope. Dude, you get some. That's so hard to hold right in place. What was that for? Man, I don't know. Okay, I think I'm holding it in a good position now. Or not. Alright, I'm gonna try and put it on the screwdriver now. Sitting on the screwdriver like that. And now I have to replace this. Dude, it really feels like it's cross-threading. I'm just going with it. It went on all the way. Wow, that was risky. I don't think it was. I think I was just being a little stiff with the way I was holding the knuckle and the axle. Alright. Dude, this is no... Oh, I remember what this screw was for. I remember what it was for. It was for this little thing. Let's get that on there before I weigh the whole thing. There's actually a little hole in there. You have to line it with 2. Get our little screw on my screwdriver ready to go. Bam. Rotate a little bit. Get it in there. Bam. Alright, that's screwed into plastic. I almost went infinite turn mode. But yeah, that's in there. Alright, that's the front axle. Completed. No, it's not. Not quite. I'll dump them out carefully. Got them. I don't know if these are all the screws I'll need. They kind of look the same. Looking at them real closely here. There we go. There's one in. Let's get that second one in. Yeah, there's like no slop in this steering linkage. I don't know if that in itself is an upgrade or not. There we go. You know, some of the other axles on Amazon here also add width. Like, also make it wider to make it more stable. There we go. Zero playing that. Nice and smooth action there. That is super smooth. A little stiff, if I do say. The next upgrade may be a stronger servo. Now, if we look at the old one here, the linkage that connects to the servo is attached to that top hole there. I don't know if that really makes a difference which one I put it in, but I'll also put it in the top hole. And it's going to be on the outside of it. It'll be on the outside of it like that. Now, I did weigh the plastic one without the servo attached, so that's what I'm going to do right now. That's also a little stiff. Alright, dude, let's weigh this little contraption. This little amalgamation of parts. I spent a good half an hour putting together. Alright, the plastic one was 23 grams. 33 grams. There you are. There it is. 33 grams. That'll be a very small upgrade. And now, with those disc covers, we can add about another 20. Now, those $90 axles I showed you come fully assembled. Oh my god. So, they might actually... That makes the whole thing more expensive. Well, I think you can get empty ones on the Muse website, I think. I'm not totally sure. But I didn't have that much money to spend. I don't know if I'm ever going to spend that much money on the scx24 because I don't drive it as much as the other trucks. Well, I say we get that attached now. No? Let's get that sucker on there right now. See if I can. I think I can attach the servo later. Well, that one clearly was up and down. 2 little short screws. Dude, this is gonna be painful. As in, like, a pain in the butt, really difficult to do to get all back together here, especially the front one. Oh, maybe not. The steering linkage is already attached to the axle here. Can't really see what I'm doing, but getting that servo attached. Do I remember which screw screwed into the servo? No. I really wish I did, though. Oh, wait, look at that. It was the ball joint. Alright, I'll have to use one of these screws then. And maybe hope that it's not too long. Okay, this you actually have to screw from the backside. To it from the backside here. Turn that servo a little bit. Alright, let me get a screw. This is gonna suck. Getting this servo on here. Sorry if I'm not really showing what I'm doing. I'm really having a hard time myself. Oh my god. Oh wow, I actually got kind of close. Oh wow. That's not gonna work. Get that on the screwdriver. Man, hopefully this screw ain't too long. Alright, it's in the steering linkage. Now to screw it into the servo. Oh, yes. Drilling into plastic once again. Well, I did it with the drive shaft. Alright, that's good. How stiff is that going to be? Hopefully not too stiff for that little servo to handle. But yeah, there is no slack in that. Maybe the teeniest wheel a little bit. But I don't know if it was all that important to begin with. Alright. I think we'll start with connecting the drive shaft. Alright. Bring that down. Let's not start with connecting the drive shaft. Let's start with this piece, which is also going to take a different screw. I'm just going to use the screws that it came with because they might, the stock screws might drill into the metal differently. Got to keep it aligned the whole time because it's threaded on both sides. And it looks like I got it right away. I don't know what would have been more difficult to work on, the TRX4. Oh my god. The drive shaft is down here. Please don't tell me that's gonna suck. Oh brother, we're good. We are good. Okay. Let's get the long links on. And if I'm right, this is probably threaded right up to there. If we can hold that link in place. There we go. Looks like we got all the way through. Screw it down till it's snug. That. Now for the other side, I'm gonna turn the truck around. So that way I can use my right hand to screw it in. Get it right in place. There we go, got it. Alright, after some finagling, I got it. Alright, but that's in there, right? Let's get those. Ooh, I'm a little concerned about this. These screws originally went into plastic. Is that going to be a problem? Let's hope not. So I immediately blocked your way there. Screwdriver on it. That's not good. If I ever got like aluminum shocks later on, those threads in there would be messed up. As you can see here, those have pre-installed ball joints. Those linkages I was just putting on have aluminum one of those. Yeah, dude, the screws will go right through these into the aluminum. Oh my god, I don't know if I should just force it or not. I probably shouldn't. But also, I'd like to just get this truck together. That's not gonna go. That ain't gonna go, dude. That's not gonna work. But yeah, I'm not gonna force that. I'm not gonna break that. Oh, dude, I never did a test on like where it tips. I totally forgot about that. Oh, if I take these ball joints out, I might need a washer. And I think I'm gonna do that last. I wanna get all the axles in first. Where'd that other shot go? I lost. Oh, it's right there. Alright. And now to do the rear. This is the one that's actually super glued in there. I don't know if I'd have to super glue it again. Man, I don't know if I ever explained the screws you have to take off to get the axle off, though. I mean, I'm sure you can figure it out yourself. Just by looking at that. I'm sure just by looking at it, you can tell which screws need to come off here. Alright. Got the rear diff assembly out. Got my scale. Let's see how much this one weighs. 16 grams. Let's get the sucker ripped apart. This actually has Phillips screws on it. Wait, this is 16 grams full. This is 17 grams empty. Dude, heck yeah. We are adding the pounds. Yep, get all the way out. You can't pull it off Unless that screw is all the way out. Man, you're not going to be able to see crap of what I'm doing here. There we go. There's that off. And the wheel hex. That little pin. And then there's 2 screws here that I'm assuming hold that bearing in right there. And the axle. Okay, rear diff cover removed. I'm not going to weigh the individual pieces again. That was kind of dumb to do in the first place. Oh, look at that. The bearing came right out. Let's keep that together. Alright, then I would have thought that these axles would just pop right out. Because that gear won't come out without the axles. So, alright, I just looked up a video on how to do it. You need something like an Allen key, stick it through the hole and pull up. It comes out with the bearing, just with force. So with the other side, force it out. Then this gear will come out. Boom. Bearing. Toss that aside. I'll be right back. Got that fancy Techno. So I could have been using from the beginning. Check that out. How fancy is that? I'm actually gonna need that old diff cover. Oh crap, what I just fell out. This piece. This is what those upper linkage is attached to. For whatever reason, that part also comes off. But let's get this bearing out. If I can. Oh, there we go. Popped in. Get this gear. Popped in. The bearing in. The bearing. Whoops. Bearing doesn't go there. Bam. It's in there. Let's get these in. Oh, dude, I didn't. Those screws do have to come out. They stick out just far enough to hold that bearing in, I think. Those are some tiny Phillips screws. Alright. Now, just like last time, you have to pick the diff up a little bit. So it'll go into place. And there we go. It's now in place. That bearing isn't, though. Try it. Oh, is that as far as it goes? Oh, looks like it. That's fine. You just gotta make sure to put those screws back. No, this one will be real easy. Oops. Gotta get those screws out first, though. Got that axle. Pop it in there, get that bearing in enough. There we go. That's all in there. And now all that's left. Get the screw gear in. Pop that bearing into place. And then get the diff cover on. Grab the shorter ones. And then grab the piece that holds those top linkages on. Get those screws in. Oh, started cross-threading a little bit. There we go. And that is still not complete. Not quite yet. Get that rear drive shaft linkage on. Well, get on there right. How about there? Make sure the holes are lined up. Alright. Now it is still not fully assembled. 2, now it's done. Goodness. Alright, so the rear one was 16 grams. Let's see where we're at now. 0 grams. 22 grams. Man, that is kind of sad. This whole assembly is as heavy as one brass diff cover. Dude, how the heck is brass so dense? Man, that is insane. Oh no. That's about the same as the front empty. So the front plastic 23 added 10 grams. The rear only added 6 grams. Wow. That little less, man. Wow. Still, it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade nonetheless. You can't deny it. Alright, let's get that sucker attached. I'm gonna be honest, I think I put that together wrong. Oh. I'm pretty sure I didn't though. Jesus, man, did I? Oh my god. Okay, maybe I did. Look at the side-to-side movement here versus the front. There's pretty much none. Alright, I think I put it together wrong. Here's what I'm gonna do. This linkage is gonna go here. This linkage is gonna go here. This linkage is gonna go here. This one's gonna go there. Let's swap them out. Let's swap it out over here. Yup. Alright, I switched them around. Look at that. No side-to-side movement. It just swivels a little bit. And if you look at the linkages there, how they're on top of each other like that, it makes more sense. I had it wrong the first time. And now the whole shock absorber thing, I don't know. Well, looking back at it, I should have put the screws back where they were, because I have no idea where those go. I have no idea where any of those go. You know, I was gonna like put them back together, but I don't think it even matters, because I don't know why I would put these back on. I don't think those aluminum ones are ever gonna break. I don't know if I could even put them under enough force to break. Whoops, that's not gonna work. I got the ball joint out, but the screw passes right through. You need washers. Even then, you're supposed to have a ball joint. That wasn't so hard to pop in and out. Oh, there's all the other ones in there. All the old stuff in there, and the new screws at the bottom. Alright, got the wheels and tires on there. Looking good. No seriousness, so those actually do look good. Especially in the front. It'll really look cool from the front. But I have the scale here. Let's see how much weight she's put on. And it weighs 2 grams already. 0. Look at 312. Okay, the shocks are not on there. But what I got before was 301. Did I really add 12 grams? Okay. Hold on. 0. Shucks. It went with 312 grams. Okay, 312. 11 grams, man. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh no. Wait. 312. Added 11 grams. Alright. 11 grams? That cannot be right. Because one was plus 10 grams and the other was plus 6. It should be like plus 16 grams. That still ain't good. Oh my god. Wow, dude. That you gotta be kidding me. Okay, here's my analysis on the weight change. So, the front plastic axle fully assembled 23 grams. Aluminum axle fully assembled 33. That's 13 grams of stuff. I did fully assemble those axles again. I sorted out all those screws and put them in the right place. And so now I have an empty plastic axle weight, which is 10 grams. Aluminum axle is 20 grams. Double the weight. You know, I talked for like in that video I talked for like 10 minutes about, you know, how disappointed I was. But man, I don't know if I really should be, because both of these, the aluminum axle empty is double the weight. The total weight increase is still only 16 grams, and since the diff covers weighed about nothing, I think getting these diff covers, whichever ones you want to get, is a better upgrade. They're 22 grams a piece. It's 6 screws, super easy. You don't have to take the whole thing apart. I think this was a better upgrade. But with these axles, okay, so these axles, which are empty, like you buy them empty, and they're double the weight of the plastic ones, empty, plus these 22 gram diff covers. Now I did read in the reviews that these may have trouble fitting brass diff covers. But, I mean, if you have some Dremel skills of some sort, you can probably make it work. So if you can combine these, that's $44. Well, not including shipping. Well, shipping should actually be free. Orders over $35, that should be free. If you get... Okay, so from the axles, I got a weight increase of 16 grams. If you add two 22 gram diff covers, you'll get an extra 60 grams. Now if you do the 20, it'll be 56. But here's why I think that might actually be a good deal. On the Muse Racing website, which is the same brand that makes those $90 axles, these are CNC aluminum. Alright, these are fully aluminum axles. 2 of them fully assembled for $46. And I would assume, it says weight 65 grams. I think that's total. And that's not like a difference weight. That's how much these weigh. That's not, it doesn't say how much weight you're adding. But with these axles and these diff covers, you're adding about 60 grams of weight for $44. So honestly, I don't think that's too bad of a deal. I mean, I was gonna say, that's not even worth it, but it just might be. Alright, I just realized there is a catch to putting on metal axles to the scx24. Okay, here's the catch to do it, putting metal axles on. The shock absorbers. See those screws? Those are coarse screws. That's made for going into plastic or wood, probably. So that will not screw back into the aluminum of the aluminum axles. Not well anyways. You could probably force it, but it's not a good idea. So you need to get these, which is for exactly that problem. See, this is explaining the coarse thread and fine thread. Coarse thread, I'm pretty sure that would actually go into the plastic. Well, that doesn't matter right now, but here. See, this creates it so the screws that you got with your metal axles will go right through. And you can use the stock shocks. And it's only $10. And you get way too many of them. You also get some threaded ones for situations like this. But if you got steering linkages with your metal axles, you don't need to do this, but that doesn't matter. And as you can see here, getting these, a billion of these, is cheaper than getting new shocks. It's half the price. But that still does add to the cost of getting metal axles. So if you just got the diff covers for $14, you could add 40 to 44 grams of weight. But if you get these metal axles that I have here, this is just a cheaper option right here. Metal axles and shocks. So the ones I got $30 plus 20, $50. Now I did put the stock shock absorbers on the scale. It did the whole read zero crap. So 3.2 grams each is another about 12.8 grams. It's a little higher centered unless you put these upside down. But if you put oil in them, I feel like it'd probably be fine. But I wouldn't. Well, I won't. And these are a little taller. Just a little bit. You can get like 52 millimeter shocks, which I feel is too much. Yeah, these also have those ball joints that pass right through. So yeah, that's just the multiple paths you can go with this truck. Metal axles, new shocks. Well, you don't need new shocks. You could get, different ball joints, brass diff covers, or you could just get the diff covers, which is the cheapest, probably best, like most costly option. But yeah, I think that's it. I think if I were to do this over again, I would have gone for just the diff covers though. So my plan for next video of this truck is to get the diff covers and the shocks, which would add like another 57 grams of weight. But I think that's it for this video. I really can't think of much else to say. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.